Hola, Chapter 8, Structural Family Therapy, the Gladding Ch Family Therapy History, Theory and Practice for Marriage and Family Overview. Structural Family Therapy, Salvador Minuchin, the Wiltwick School, New York, Inner City Delinquents, the Philadelphia Child Guidance Clinic in the 60s and the 70s. Structural Family Therapy's major thesis: an individual's symptoms are best understood and examined in the context of family interactional patterns. It's a very strong premise of what marriage and family therapy actually is. A change in the family's organization or structure must take place before the symptoms can be relieved. The change in the lives of individuals has to be continued to be influential in current practices, even those outside of a structural family therapy orientation. You're looking at Bernice Rosman, Harry Aponte. Harry Aponte's videos are up in your resources. Charles Fishman, and of course Salvador Minuchin, Russian Jewish immigrant from Argentina. Became a systems therapist in 1959, a three-stage approach for working with low socioeconomic level families. Developing a language for describing family structures and methods for getting families to alter their organization. His work at Wiltwick gained him widespread recognition. Families of the Slums, a book that he published, working with Jay Haley and Montalvo. Haley was strategic, Montalvo with Milan. The development of treatment techniques with psychosomatic families, anorexic families and family therapy. Most clearly written, popular book, widespread notoriety. He stepped down from the director of the clinic in 1975, but remained the head of training until 1981. Has studied normal families. The premise of the theory is pragmatic, practical, emphasizing individuals acting with their interaction, that every family has a structure and revealed only when the family is behaving within action. A coalition is an alliance between specific family members against a third member, sort of like the triangulation seen by Murray Bowen. A stable coalition is fixed, inflexible, like a mother and son, dominant in the family's functioning. A detouring coalition is a third member scapegoated, held responsible for their difficulties, like a warring couple scapegoating a child, a problematic child. Subsystems, the smaller units of the system as a whole, existing to carry out family tasks. Without subsystems, the work of the family would not function. Defined by boundaries and rules connected with them, formed when the family members join together to perform functions, some temporary, some more permanent. Painting a room is more temporary than parenting a child. There is the spousal subsystem, the couple, the marriage partners. The parental subsystem with cross-generational alliances. Each parent aligned to each child, plus aligned to all the children as a whole. And then the parent couple aligning to each child and to all the children as a whole. And the parental subsystems must change as the children grow. The sibling subsystem is how we relate to those of our own age and our peer group. Boundaries, the physical, psychological factors that separate people one from another and organize them. The strength of boundaries is represented in structural family mapping by broken, solid, and dotted lines. That is there for you on page 203. Clear boundaries consist of rules and habits that allow family members to enhance communication and relationships, encouraging dialogue. Rigid boundaries, inflexible, keeping them separated, emotionally detached, disengaged. Diffuse boundaries, not enough to be fused, but causing chaos and confusion. Too flexible boundaries allow anyone and everyone to come in. A two-parent family where there's conflict and over-involvement is listed on page 204 with a diagram. A family where there is a coalition between parent and children is in figure 8.1. Alignments are ways family members join together to oppose another in carrying out a family activity. Who has the power? Who makes the rules? What roles are assigned to us at the origin of our family? Structural family therapy is referred as a way of looking at families from the developmental of dysfunctional sets. Family reactions developed in response to stress that are repeated without modification, regardless of success, whenever there is family conflict. Joining is a process of coupling that occurs between the therapist and the family, leading to the development of rapport and a therapeutic system. And therapists join families in one of four ways: by tracking, following the content of the family, reflective restatements of what the family says; through mimesis, mirroring the family. If the family is slow talking, the therapist becomes slow talking. If the family jokes, the therapist is joking. Confirmation of a family member, an affective word to reflect an expressed or unexpressed feeling. Joining sometimes the most vulnerable family member, sometimes joining the most powerful family member. And accommodation, making personal adjustments by the therapist to achieve a therapeutic alliance. Disequilibrium, unbalancing negative issues, reframing, changing a perception by explaining a situation from a different context. Punctuation, a universal phenomenon characteristic of all human interaction. The selective description of a transaction in accordance with the therapist's goal. An unbalancing, aligning with subsystems to disrupt power or create power. Enactment, bringing back a role play. Let's see what happened. Let's reenact it in the family therapy session so that the therapist can understand and experience how the family works together. Working with spontaneous interaction, bringing to light or to spotlight attention on some particular behavior, focusing on process, not content. Boundary making, an invisible line that separates people or subsystems from each other psychologically, finding out what those are. Intensity, changing maladaptive transactions by using strong effect, repeated interventions, prolonged pressure, based on tone, volume, pace, choice of words, to raise the affective intensity of some type of statement, maybe to tell the family to do things differently. Restructuring, the heart of the structural approach. The goal is structural change, not just first order change, to change who has power, how the alliances play out, to shape competence, helping families understand, kind of similar to successive approximation, that they can learn to do things better, differently for themselves. Diagnosing, understanding the systematic interrelationship of all family members and understanding what kind of family we're dealing with. Adding cognitive constructions, advice, information, pragmatic fictions, paradoxes from the experience and knowledge of the therapist, pragmatic fictions or pronouncement that help you to change. Paradoxes are confusing, meant to motivate the family to search for other alternatives. The structural family therapist is both an observer and an expert active in making interventions to modify and change underlying structures of the families, requiring higher energy and precise timing. A number of techniques are used to accomplish the goal of change: unbalancing, aligning with one member of the family, praise, challenges, direct orders, judgments, which is Fishman and Mnuchin, implicit or explicit treatments. There is a case illustration on 212, and also the summary table that gives you an outline. So that wraps us up for Chapter 8, guys.